When we used to stay in Chicago, we would stay at the Blackstone Hotel, right on Grant Park. Beautiful old hotel, right across from the Hilton where they filmed The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. When we would stay in these big cities, L.A., New York, Chicago, people would always drop prototypes off to Maynard. They bring around Courtois flugelhorns or Firebird trumpets, the slide trumpet with the valves, or a Superbone when we would be around. Was it Kenosha, wherever Holton, LeBlanc, was. Always stuff on the bus all the time. So here we are, we're in Chicago, and the thing about Chicago is you could stay in the town, and you would one day you would go play Evanston up north, come back to the hotel. The next day you go play Elmhurst, go out west. The next day you go to Joliet, you would play. So you can actually stay in the city and hit all these different suburbs. If you ever looked at a map of Chicago, you would see all these suburbs just crammed around Chicago. It was great. Chicago, great town, great town. You can walk around, eat, steak places, pizza places, Giordano's on Michigan Avenue and the Grand Park. You could, the pier now. So anyway, we stayed at this hotel, the Blackstone. All the presidents used to stay there up until Jimmy Carter. And they had a special room, and many times they would give this room to Maynard, where they would put the presidents. Big room, like half the floor, and it had a secret passage that went out the back way to the back alley in case the press happened to be in the hotel and they were in the lobby. If you were the president, you wanted to get out and avoid, you take this little secret passageway. And there was this guy, Jimmy, who he would take the bags. He would be the bag guy. He would get the bag from the presidents and all that. And he could tell us which president, Jimmy Carter was a lousy tipper. He would tell us stories like that. So we asked Jimmy, where's this passageway? I'm not going to tell you kids where it is because you guys are going to run all over it. You guys would be up. You'll be up and inside that thing. Forget it. I'm not going to tell you. Come on, Jimmy, we're going to find it. We're going to find it. You're going to give Maynard, they gave Maynard the presidential room. So we said, we're going to find it, Jimmy, because you guys will never find it. And we never did. Be like 5 of us were knocking on the walls, we're banging on the walls, we're looking underneath the rug. We could never find it. So anyway, the street behind this Blackstone Hotel was called Wabash, and Schilke had an office there. Schilke, trumpet makers, mouthpiece makers. So we have a day off in Chicago, which is really rare because the band should be working to be bringing income in. But if you just happen to have an off day, and it was in a great city, it was like gold, So we're all planning on going out, maybe go see a movie, or we'll go to a great steak place, or go get a great pizza place, or just spend the whole day, a day off in Chicago. My God, it was great. So I think it was Steve Weiss, Ray Brinker, Matt Harris, and I think Bob Wackerman. I think that's who. Anyway, we're all hanging in the room. We're saying, let's get out of here. It'll be great. Like 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning. So I think Bob goes out first, then Matt Harris, and then I think Brinker went out, and then Steve Weiss goes out, and I'm the last one. So I turned to lock the door, and as I'm locking the door, the guys are out in the hallway, and they make a right to go down another hallway to get in the elevator, and Steve's like the last one. And as soon as Steve passes that corner, I'm locking the door. You hear, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I look, and it's Maynard. It's Maynard in a bathrobe, and it's early, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and I was positioned where I could look this way down this hallway where the guys are getting in the elevator, and I could look this way and I see Maynard, and I was the only one that could see both, and the guys are getting on the elevator going, and Maynard was like, "What are you doing?" And I thought, I didn't have the heart to tell Maynard, "Well, I'm going out with all the guys. I really don't want to hang," because usually if he asks you what you're doing, he wants to hang, and you don't want to say no to him. But a day off, oh my God, you can hang, do anything. Anyway, the guys left. And I said, "I'm just hanging, boss. I'm doing nothing, And he goes, yeah, come on in here." So I go in, and there's a box, looks like a humidor for cigars. And when he opens it up, it's like 5 rows of 10 slots, 50 mouthpieces in this box from Schilke. Because Schilke was on Wabash, right behind where we stayed, and when they knew Maynard was in, they would drop this box of, "Hey, Maynard, try these prototypes and let us know if you like them," because everyone was trying to get Maynard to play their stuff. Maynard was with LeBlanc, Peavy, and Zildjian. Zildjian. Those were the three companies that helped him when he needed help. And he said, when the people who made the connections with him from these companies, when they pass away, he goes, then my connection is severed. But he said, when I needed help, when I came back from England and I needed help with the band, these three companies helped me. Specifically, certain people, like in PV was the actual guy PV who helped Maynard. Zildjian, it was Armand Zildjian and Lenny DiBlasio were the guys who helped him there. And in LeBlanc, it was Vito Pascucci. And he named the companies and the people in each of these companies. He goes, when those people go, then I can go with whoever I want. But he says, loyalty has to count for something. I never forget he said that. I believe loyalty counts for something, and they helped me. And now that I don't need the help, everybody wants to give me stuff. So anyway, he's got this box of. So I go in his room, and he has this. Anyone who was with him around the time I was with him, you recognize the red cooler. He had a big red cooler where he kept his Taylor champagne in it, and it always smelled like sulfur to me. So we would sit. I sat down by the window, and Maynard says, check this out. And he opens up, he has a bottle of champagne. It's 9 a.m. He pops it. He pours it. I haven't eaten anything. And I was like, oh, man. I'm thinking, oh, man. I'm looking at these 50 mouthpieces, empty stomach, champagne. I look out the window. I see the guys getting in the cab. I see Brinker getting in the cab. And So anyway, Maynard puts it in. He's in his underwear now. He stands there with his trumpet. What do you think? Pops a few high E's, some high D's. I think it's like 10 after 9 in the morning. Puts that mouthpiece down, picks up the second one. Yeah. Gets the third one. And he pours me more champagne. And I'm like, oh my God. So after a while, maybe after about 15 mouthpieces, I said, boss, and now we're maybe a half hour into this thing, and I can't hear anything. I'm trying to enjoy what he's playing through the roar of my tinnitus, and he's, I said, boss, honestly, it all sounds the same to me. I can't really, sounds like you and everything. And he goes, yeah, I kind of feel like that too. And he pours more champagne and blah, blah, blah. We're talking more, and he tries a few more. And I never forget, we got to about the middle of the third row, like 5 rows of mouthpieces, 10, 20, maybe around like 25 or 26, something like that. And I said, boss, it sounds it sounds the same, man. To me, maybe we should get a trumpet guy in here or something who would probably eat all this up. But I was just, So he winds up, somehow we start talking about Dizzy, because we just did a thing with Dizzy in New Orleans, the Sass and Brass thing. And I said, boss, when we were standing behind Dizzy, whenever he would peg a high note, like an F or a G, when his cheeks would puff out, they would really puff out all the way around the back of his head. They would almost connect in the back. You could see it when he played a real high note. And I was mentioning that to Maynard, and I said, your neck bulges out a little bit like this. He goes, oh, well, I can get mine to bulge like this. He pretty much watch. And he gets his T-shirt and he pulls it down. And he really starts playing some really high notes just to see how much he can get his neck out. And I didn't know what I was watching here, because I was like on my second champagne. It's like 10:15 in the morning. Maynard's been playing high notes on these mouthpieces that aren't his. And he's trying to make his neck puff out like Dizzy, because Dizzy is his hero. Maynard just loves Dizzy. So Maynard's like, watch. Tell me, is it almost meeting in the back? And he turns around and he's, is it? Oh, man. And I was like, yeah, boss, you got it, almost. Oh, man, it was funny. But I think we went through another row. We listened to about 30 of these mouthpieces. And at the end, I said, boss, honestly, man, I can't. They all sound great. He goes, yeah, that's the way I feel. I think I'll put mine on. Anyway, he puts his on, and he starts playing his, and it was maybe almost 2 hours of hearing Maynard try mouthpieces at like 9:30 in the morning, no breakfast, champagne, And then, when I thought it was at least going to maybe calm down when we started talking about Dizzy's neck, then he was really pushing for it. He was pushing for these high notes. It was cute. It was kind of cute. And then we went out to eat, and we had a good time. But boy, in the morning, oof, oof. Anyway, I never made it with the guys, but I got to hear all these mouthpieces. They were all the same to me. I wasn't the guy to try it, but it makes for a good story. Nothing heavy, just oof, oof. It's tough on an empty stomach.